This is Nagorno-Karabakh, a place so remote that for centuries almost no one cared about its existence, and now a place where for 30 years, two neighbors have been trying to kill each other off. I'm the host, and this is the story of Nagorno-Karabakh. In the South Caucasus Mountains lies a small, rugged land. It's called Nagorno-Karabakh, Mountainous Karabakh in Russian. For centuries, its valleys and peaks have been home to Armenians and Azerbaijanis. But in the 20th and 21st centuries, this highland enclave became one of the most fought-over places on Earth. So how did it come to this? Let's go back in time before the conflict, before the mountains ran red with blood, before the world knew about the Mountain War. Let's go back to when the land was known simply as Karabakh, meaning Black Garden. Karabakh was an autonomous region within the Azerbaijan Soviet Socialist Republic. In 1921, during the dying days of the Russian Empire, the Bolsheviks took the city of Ganjak, and soon after the surrounding regions, the mountain lands were combined with neighboring territories to form the Azerbaijan Democratic Republic. Then, in 1923, the Soviets carved out Nagorno-Karabakh as an autonomous region inside the Azerbaijan Soviet Republic. This decision planted the seeds for decades of tension, because despite being mostly populated by Armenians, Nagorno-Karabakh was under the control of neighboring Azerbaijan. At the time, no one paid much attention to the region. The seeds of discord lay dormant until the 1980s, when the grip of the Soviet Union began to loosen and the desire for national identity grew stronger. In 1988, the Armenian population of Nagorno-Karabakh protested their status, demanding unification with Armenia. Azerbaijan saw this as a threat to its territorial integrity and sent in the military. The protests soon turned violent, and both sides committed atrocities against each other. As the Soviet Union dissolved in 1991, Nagorno-Karabakh declared its independence, but no country recognized it. Tensions reached a boiling point, and on February 20, 1988, a full-scale war broke out between Armenia and Azerbaijan. Backed by Armenia, ethnic Armenian forces captured Nagorno-Karabakh and 7 surrounding districts. Azerbaijan sought help from Turkey and other Muslim countries. By 1994, more than 30,000 people had died, and the war showed no signs of stopping. Finally, a Russian-brokered ceasefire was established. The line between Armenia and Azerbaijan remained at a stalemate for over 25 years. Throughout this period, occasional clashes occurred, killing hundreds of soldiers. Many attempts at diplomacy also failed to end the conflict. The Minsk Group, a group of mediators consisting of Russia, France, and the United States, worked tirelessly to bring the two nations to the negotiating table, but nothing substantial came from these efforts. Azerbaijan, on the other hand, focused on nation-building and the modernization of its armed forces. Bolstered by its vast oil wealth, they grew increasingly impatient with the lack of progress and began to plan a way to reclaim Nagorno-Karabakh. Then, on September 27, 2020, everything changed. Azerbaijan launched a massive surprise offensive. Drones, artillery, and special forces overwhelmed Armenian defenses. The offensive caught Armenia off guard. Their Soviet-era army wasn't prepared for such a modern attack. Despite help from Russia, Armenia couldn't hold back the tide. Within weeks, Azerbaijan recaptured large parts of Nagorno-Karabakh and all surrounding districts. The offensive continued until November 10, 2020, when another Russian-brokered ceasefire was established. This one, however, was very different from the 1994 agreement. The terms gave Azerbaijan control over most of Nagorno-Karabakh and a corridor that connected Armenia to the remaining 5% of the region. Russian peacekeepers were deployed to monitor the situation. For the first time since 1994, the fighting had stopped, or so everyone thought. After the 2020 war, things seemed to calm down. Azerbaijan enjoyed its victory, while Armenia licked its wounds. Yet the underlying issues remained unresolved. Tensions continued to simmer along the border. In September 2023, Azerbaijan decided it had waited long enough. On September, Azerbaijan launched a swift one-day military operation. Reports say that before the attack, Azerbaijan cut off water and electricity to Nagorno-Karabakh and warned the remaining Armenian forces to surrender, and they did. That same day, the military leadership of Nagorno-Karabakh announced their surrender. After 30 years of resistance, the Armenian forces laid down their weapons. Within weeks, nearly all of the region's Armenian population, over 100,000 people, fled to Armenia. Once again, the mountains were quiet. The war was over. And today, Nagorno-Karabakh is officially part of Azerbaijan. The region is currently patrolled by Azerbaijani forces, and the Armenian communities that once lived there are gone. Russia's role as a peacekeeping force has diminished, and the South Caucasus faces a new balance of power. So why should you care about this conflict? Why does a war in some far-off mountains matter to you? Because conflicts like this reflect a failure of our collective humanity. Borders aren't just lines on a map. They are lifelines, defining who is us and who is them. In the mountains, those lines become battle lines, and the human cost is immeasurable. For decades, Nagorno-Karabakh was more than a geographic location. It was a symbol of a conflict frozen in time. The echoes of war reverberated through the centuries-old mountains, leaving scars that ran deeper than any trench. The 2020 and 2023 wars may be over, but the legacy of violence and displacement continues to cast a long shadow. The world watches as two nations grapple with the aftermath: displaced people, shattered families, and the daunting task of rebuilding amidst the ruins. The mountain war serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of peace and the urgent need for dialogue and understanding in our world today. But we have a question for you. What do you think about this story? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you've made it this far, then thank you for watching. If you like this episode, please share it with your friends. We would really appreciate that. Until next time, stay curious, stay open-minded, and we'll see you in the next episode.